Okay, in this video, let's take a look at the golf swing of Brendan Steele, PGA Tour player, three-time winner, and almost got it done in this week. Just finished second to Hideki Matsuyama. Just a quick reminder, if it is your first time to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and hit that like button as well. That really helps us move up the rankings and helps that channel grow. Okay, first off, we can really see a different looking setup than a lot of the players on tour. Now, he is a tall guy at 6'2", but still he has a very angular setup, sort of 80s looking setup, very angular, a lot of knee flex, a lot of forward bend, hands very low at address. And maybe he was a tall kid, maybe that's how he learned to do it, to set up to clubs maybe that weren't fitting him properly, but certainly a lot of angles. And the problem with a lot of angles, if you start this bent forward with a lot of knee flex, chances are you'll be coming up out of that posture more than you want to be, and then that causes some trouble for the club getting too inside out for really good players. Pushes, hooks, losing balls left, losing them right. Typically more of a hook miss for that type of a player. If we look at his swing here, he takes it back, sort of rolls it with the left arm, separating from the chest there. A little bit unusual for this day and age. Shaft gets in a pretty flat position going back. But as he starts to come down, he then moves slightly forward, increasing that sort of angle with the spine forward, and that then tips the shaft slightly back this way to keep it from getting too shallow. And so now he's got it in a good position coming down. Elbow on the plane, not bad there at all. He's still bent forward really well. This gap here between the hands and the shaft, or original shaft plane, not too wide. But now he's starting to come up, and now we see a pretty big gap there through impact. And once again, just for a player that tall, as he comes up out of it on a bad week with bad rhythm, the more he comes up, if he's up and out early, it's going to be a bad ball striking week in terms of greens and regulation and fairways hit. He was up and out of this shot a little bit like we saw, kind of leaning to keep it going right a little bit more. Didn't miss it way off line, but it's a little left of that flag. Okay, now with a longer club, let's see how he does staying in posture. Certainly looking taller. Much easier to stand tall when you have a long club. So let's see how he does here. Rolls it a little bit flat underneath. Club working its way a little bit flatter underneath probably than some guys do or would want to do. Club gets a little heavier and hard to handle when it gets too flat back there, and lays it off. And then as he comes down, like we said, he makes that move where he tries to stay down as long as he can in this angle. That keeps the shaft working okay. Not bad angles here, even slightly better than the iron shot, which we expect a little bit because he's standing taller to begin with. But then there are those hands riding off the plane. And the more they ride out, the more loss of the club face control sort of goes away. We'd like to see for players to stay down longer to keep the handle right on that shaft plane coming through. Of course, a wedge being so short, he's going to look really bent over like he looks here. Looks like he's 7 feet tall or something. And you can see here that club up the plane quite nicely with the wedge. That laid off position, club face in great shape, left wrist in great shape. And once again, that initial move really staying forward right there. I love the club face here, I love the plane. Just down long enough to stay in control of that shot for sure. The camera angle is probably a little bit off. I'll bet he's pretty much on the plane right there. But once again, if you're up and out early, club face closes usually a little too quickly, and there's another one a little left. Certainly not way left, 15-footer at most. When talking about his game, certainly putting doesn't look to be a strength of his. When you look at the stats, he's not that great from sort of that mid-length. Might be hit a lot of good shots one week, but the putts don't seem to go in statistically. Certainly evident. You see sort of the claw grip there, and maybe that's part that he's really struggled with. This week, he was lighting it up with a putter, and he has won 3 times on the tour. So clearly when he gets the putter working, it is great. It just looks to be statistically not as consistent as he would like it to be. And one last look at the full swing here. Let's look at the tracer on this one. As he comes down, there's that laid off position. As he starts forward, steepens the shaft right there just enough to keep it on plane. Down pretty well here, and there's this tracer coming off pretty much right at the flag. You can tell his reaction's pretty good there, staring it down right over the pin. A little long, but right over the pin. So let's see how he was doing on this one in terms of staying down. How much does he get back to this original angle? So slightly lower there in the transition, keeps his club on plane. Pretty good right there. Hands and shaft, or grip rather, very close to the original plane. And not coming up much before the actual shot, barely, but staying quite low on that shot. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for this quick video of Brendan Steele. Congrats to him on a second place finish. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.